Okay, good evening. This video we're going to cover the three night games that were played Friday nights on Ion, and we had two really good, really close games, pretty much till the end, and then one uh, was the Aces and the Sparks. The Aces pretty much were in control of this game the whole time, and the Sparks made a run, but they ended up not being able to pull it out. So you had the Aces winning 96 to 81, and then Minnesota and Phoenix. Now that one was a barn burner. That one ended up Minnesota pulled it out at the last few seconds, 74 to 71, and then Atlanta and Seattle. That one was a tale of two halves, pretty much. So I'm going to cover the Sparks and the Aces first. And like I said, it was 81 to 96. And then we had, let's see the scoring here. The Aces outscored the Sparks in every quarter but the fourth. And the fourth, it was they only outscored them by 6. So it was just a constant pounding by the Aces. And Kelsey Plum had a run there in the third and fourth quarter, but it wasn't enough. Um, yeah, the Aces, led by Jackie Young and Gray in the first half, they were hitting threes and just regular shots, and they had built a lead to 15 at halftime. So the Sparks were down right from the get go. And then the beginning of the third, the Aces built that to a 21-point lead. And then the Sparks had a run, and they got it down to 10 halfway through the fourth. And Kelsey Plum was driving, and she was hitting some shots, and she was giving her best effort, along with other players too. Stevens and Derica Hamby's always out there fighting, but it just wasn't enough. And then Asia Wilson started to take over, and they ended up losing 96 to 81. Yeah, Jackie Young had 26 points. She shot 50% from the field. She was 11 for 22. Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, she shot a lot. And then Asia Wilson shot 66.7%. She was 12 for 18. And Jewel Lloyd, she hasn't found her rhythm yet. She was 1 for 8. And then Chelsea Gray had 15 points. So you had 35, 26, and 15 for their main three players. So, yeah, that was a little bit too much to overcome. Let's see who we have here. Hamby had 14, Azrae Stevens had 10, Kelsey Plum had 17, and Odyssey Sims had 15 for LA. But Vegas was too much to handle for them on this particular night. So that was pretty much the story, other than the run that the Sparks had. I was pretty surprised. I mean, they were up for a while, and Asia Wilson played, I think she played the whole game. You would think she would have come out when they had a lead, but she was in there the whole time. Okay, so on to the next game. I'm going to cover Atlanta and Seattle, which was a tale of two halves. You had Seattle ended up getting a lead they were up, let's see. They were up by 13 with 6 minutes left in the second quarter, and they ended up being up by 11 at halftime. Yeah, Seattle scored. I'm looking at the quarters here. Seattle scored 23, 22, 21, and 21. And but Atlanta, boy oh boy, they had a second half. Third quarter and fourth quarter, 29 and 31 points to pull that game out. That was pretty impressive. Yeah, it was mostly Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray. They both shot. Alicia Gray was 8 for 15. She shot 53% from the field. And then Ryan Howard was 12 for 24. You shoot like that. Yeah, Ryan Howard, 33 points, and Alicia Gray had 28. And then the other major contributor was Brianna Jones. She had 15. Brittany Griner only had 2. She only played 14 minutes. So, yeah, that was a push in the second half. Seattle was more spread out. Gabby Williams had 14. NECA had 16. Erica Wheeler's playing pretty well for them, 14, and Skylar Diggins had 20. So they just didn't have enough there in the second half. The Alicia Gray, I mean, she was my player of the week last week. She's been playing really well, hitting threes, and her and Ryan Howard, they got Pow Pow back as a point guard, so Ryan Howard didn't have to take that on, and her scoring has definitely gone up since then. So, but this was it was tied in the fourth. Seattle had that big lead, and then they also had in the second half, they had 7 and 1s. So they drove to the hoop, got the foul, and then got the foul shot. That's a pretty high amount, which would explain them coming back, and between that and threes. Let's see here. And what was it? Ryan Howard's? Alicia Gray. It was actually more 2-point shots. Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard had 7 3-pointers between the two of them, which is nothing to, be, that's still pretty good. 7 threes in a game between two players. It's nothing to sneeze about. So, anyway, that was that game, and Seattle ended up losing 94-87. So, but it was a good hard-fought game. Lots of back and forth, and when a game's tied in the fourth, and you're fighting to the end, those are always entertaining games. Let's see. Yeah, that was pretty much the synopsis of that game, but a fun game to watch. Okay, so the last game, this was a barn burner. This was Minnesota and Phoenix. They were going back and forth. So to start off, you had no Nafisa Collier for Minnesota. She was out. I guess she has some soreness in her knee. And then Alyssa Thomas was out for Phoenix. So, your two perhaps biggest stars on your team were both out on each team. So, that's kind of even. And this one was pretty much back and forth the whole time. It was... one thing I wanted to point out. Minnesota had some great inbounds plays, and they caught Phoenix by surprise twice. What they were doing was they were inbounding it, and then the inbounder would run to the basket and then lay up. They did it under the basket once, and then they did it off the sideline, and it worked. It worked like perfection both times. It was a great inbounds play. I was surprised they got caught with it twice. But Phoenix, they were using Kalani Brown really well. She was taking advantage of her 6'7" height, and they had built a lead by 7 points in the third quarter. But Minnesota came back in the fourth, and the Lynx ended up taking the lead with 3 minutes left. And then Phoenix came right back. Akoa Makani hit a 3. And then it went back to Minnesota, and then Williams ties it with a 3. And then they're coming down with, the clock was running down to practically nothing. And Minnesota's driving down the court, and then they're passing the ball around, and they hit Heidemann in the corner, hits a 3, puts them up. I think there was like a few seconds left after that. But it put them up. The score was tied at that point, and they put them up. It put them up 74-71, and Phoenix ended up not getting a shot off. But before that, Heidemann was driving to the hoop, and she was a big part of the reason why Minnesota ended up getting the score tied. So, as far as scores, you had for Phoenix, Satu Sabali had 26 points. She shot 50% from the field. And then you have Sammy Whitcomb had 13. She was 5 for 11. And then Kalani Brown. Kalani Brown had a decent game. She was 7 for 8. And most of her shots are right under the hoop. So that should be normal. And she had 15 points. So that was that for Phoenix, and they had a good game. I mean, it was back and forth. Uh, for Minnesota, we had some people step up without Collier there. Alana Smith, she had a good game. She had hit a couple threes. She was 8 for 15 from the floor. She had 19 points. Good game for Alana. She's a hard worker. Um, and then you had Kayla McBride. McBuckets is back. Although she didn't shoot great from the floor. She shot okay she shot 42%. It's funny. She shoots better from 3-point than she does from 2 points. She shot 42%. She was 3 for 7 from 3, and she was 4 for 11 from 2. So, but she had 20 points. Courtney Williams had 11, and like I said, she hit that key shot that tied the score late in the fourth before Heidemann started driving. Oh, I think that was actually afterwards. Let's see. Who else? 11. Heidemann had 9, and most of hers came in the very end of the game. So, but very, very entertaining game to watch. It was down to the wire. I always love those games. And that was that. So Minnesota gets the win. They were still undefeated. And their next game is Sunday, which is the first Commissioner's Cup game from what I've been reading. And they're playing my Valkyries. So we're going to, the Valkyries gave the Liberty all they could handle. Let's see how they do with the Lynx. I mean, boy, it'd be nice if Collier's out. The Valkyries have a better shot, but we'll see. I mean, they've been playing tough. So, but we'll see on Sunday. And everyone have a nice weekend and enjoy the games on Sunday.